Welcome to Indigenous Earth, where we explore indigenous wisdom to help you protect and connect to our planet. From the Paitavdira tribe of Paraguay, I'm your host, Frank Oscar Weaver. Have you ever dipped into a river and felt it was just more than moving water? More than just a recreational activity? That there's an energy there that is kind of hard to describe. What if I told you for many indigenous cultures, rivers are living beings, they're sacred entities woven into the very fabric of life, culture, and identity? Today, we dive deep into one of my favorite topics, water, but more specifically, our rivers, the lifeblood of our planet. In this episode, we explore how indigenous communities treat rivers as sentient beings, providers of sustenance, spirituality, and culture. We also uncover the harsh realities, how gold mining and environmental destruction are threatening these rivers, and with them, the very way of life for many people that depend on them. Today, we're going to speak with Impirita Samani, a community leader from the Ashaninka people of the Amazon, who's going to share the impacts of mining. And we're going to offer steps on how you can protect the rivers near you and around the world.
Siempre lo tratamos como una persona viviente.
We treat the river as a living person. Even though it may seem invisible, it is always present.
That belief that rivers are sentient, living beings is deeply rooted in her people's tradition. It's about mutual respect and care. You see, the river provides them with fish, water, and sustenance, but only if they honor it. This is something that goes against our modern practice of resource extraction.
Todos estos ríos están contaminados, no solo por el desagüe, sino también por la minería que se han establecido.
All these rivers are contaminated, not just by sewage, but also by mining activities that were established.
The number of both legal and illegal mines have been rising, and they are inflicting irreversible damage on the environment.
Os danos ambientais.
It is very difficult for nature to recover from illegal mining. Even with human intervention, the mercury that is used in extraction brings about other problems in public health, especially for those who live in the shores of the river and in the indigenous population.
The river is a living being, and when that spirit is harmed, the community feels that impact.
Siempre pedíamos permiso a este ente, ¿no? Dejando tabaco, dejando coca.
We always ask permission, leaving tobacco and coca as offerings, so the river can give us nourishment.
In indigenous traditions, giving offering to the river is just not symbolic. It's a way to acknowledge that the river is a provider and a protector. These traditions are in danger. They're taking away our natural resources and destroying the cultural identity that has been passed through generations and generations. Now, her community is searching for a new territory, a place where they can connect back with nature and continue their traditions.
Se está trabajando, digamos, en búsqueda de nuevo territorio para poder migrar, en donde volvamos nuevamente a reconectarnos.
The concern now is to find a new territory, a place where we can reconnect again.
This is part of a broader issue known as environmental displacement and cultural displacement. Environment displacement happens when communities are forced to leave their homes to environmental destruction, like deforestation, mining, or climate change. In these cases, industries have destroyed the rivers and lakes that people depend on for survival, making it impossible for them to stay. But it's just not about finding a new place to live. It's about cultural displacement. When indigenous communities are pushed off their land, they lose the cultural and spiritual connection that tied them to the land, that threatens their traditions, languages, and way of life.
Porque hemos dejado dormido todas estas costumbres y lo poco que hemos dejado a flote prácticamente se queda nulo para la población nueva, la nueva generación, porque no conoce.
As many indigenous practices are directly linked to the environment they inhabit, the community quest to find new unspoiled land is more about than survival. It's about cultural regeneration. It's about teaching the next generation on how to continue living with harmony with nature, rather than adapting to the exploitations and the destruction that surrounds them. Impirita shares that she doesn't like the word guardian.
Yo discrepo mucho porque creo que la palabra guardián tiene un limitante.
We are not guardians.
The word guardian makes you think about somebody that is doing for a job, that's clocking in and clocking out to do it. She prefers the term children of the earth because that means that we are taking care of it like it's our mother.
A veces somos hijos de la madre naturaleza, hijos de la tierra y con todo lo que nos tiene.
We are children of Mother Nature, children of the earth and everything that is involved with it.
And what about us? How can we be better children of the earth? How can we rekindle that connection and take care of our mother who has given us so much? Not as a guardian that does it as out of a work duty, but as a loving child who has a bond and wants to repay the love that we have received. Go to your nearest rivers. Just spend some time observing, reflecting. Take a pause from being on the phone and just listen to the flow of water. Let that current wash over you and just bring that energy and just let purify you and just let your troubles wash away. And then you will feel the river as a living entity. Another great way to give back is to participate in river or waterway cleanups. If you're in Central Florida, you can join our group, Central Florida Recon. We've been doing cleanups for the last 15 years or so, and we'll be happy to have you. And if you're in Florida, you can search on Instagram, #LeaderFreeFlorida. You can see a lot of cool groups that I highly recommend to do cleanups with. Or you can find local organizations near you, as there's plenty of cool people doing cleanups around the world. And more importantly, support organizations that are fighting illegal mining. Do some research on the topic. See what are the ones that are really impacting and helping preserve the Amazon and the vital ecosystems that make the lungs of our planet. It's time for us to recognize that rivers are alive, just as indigenous communities have done for thousands of years. Thank you so much for listening. I really hope that you're able to connect to our rivers and help protect our planet. We are children of the earth, after all. I want to thank Impirita for this amazing conversation. She's the one that is singing throughout this episode. So please check out the show descriptions on a way to connect and support her. Also, my good friend Christopher Porcaro is running the Mountain Lakes 100 in Oregon. It's 100 miles to raise funds for mental health initiatives that support Native youth, a cause that is very close to both of our hearts. All the donations will go to this podcast and also to United National Indian Tribal Youth, UNITY. Two organizations are going to provide support for mental health for Native youth. I won't run the 100 miles, but I'll be there to make sure Chris is able to get to the finish line. If you'd like to contribute, visit the links in the show descriptions. Every little bit helps. Thank you so much. Agoje.